Welcome back. It is now time for Stefan Ölander, CEO of Soltic Energy Sweden, to present. Welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. I'm CEO since about 2.5 years. I invested in this company 10 years ago and became the chairman of the board between 12 to 18, and then I took over late 18. I'm going to talk 15 minutes and then 5 minutes of questions. So I want to start with this picture. It's pretty amazing just to think about that. 2 hours of sunshine that hits the Earth's surface will be enough for the world's energy needs for one entire year, the whole world's energy needs. So if we can just harvest the sun's energy in a better way, we'll solve a lot of problems that we have. This is Soltech. We went on Nasdaq First North 6 years ago, about in June. We have almost most shareholders of everybody, 65,000. Embracer and one other company, I think, has more. We have a very intensive acquisition strategy in Sweden, a strong foothold in China, which I will talk about. We're pending about 1.8 billion in market cap. And when I took over 2018, we had a turnover of 50 million. And in 2 years, we turned up to 500. And now we're pushing for 2.4, 2.7, something like that, billion in 2024. So we're a really fast-growing company. And a international magazine that observed this was Forbes last week. They did a long article about us, an interview with me, and a quote from it is that the Stockholm-based Soltic Energy is snatching up roofers and electricians and then sprinkling a little solar power on them, and we're growing like weed. So that's a good one. There you have the link that you can look, or just look for Ken Silverstein at Forbes, and you can read that article. It's almost an advertisement. A really good article, if you ask me. These companies, talking about acquisition, in 2.5 years, we've bought one company every other month. We started with Nyedal and ended with Takbyrån last week, 2 weeks ago. These are solar companies, roofing companies, electricians, and one facade company. And why we buy these kind of companies? Well, in the middle, it's Soltic Energy. I'll show you some of our unique products. But if you want to be the best solar company, you have the solar energy in the middle, and then you have to know a lot about roofs, because a lot of solar energy panels are set on roofs that have maybe 5-6 years left, and then you have to change the roof or rebuild the roof. If you put on a solar system on it, that will last for 25-30 years. So a lot of solar companies around the world are making that mistake. And on the other hand, you need the electricians, because if you put up a big solar energy plant, that's a lot of power, and there's a risk for fires and everything. So you have to know both electricians and the roofing business. And if you're going to start working on facades, you can't just say, now we're a facade solar company. Then you have to buy a facade system. My background is marketing and branding for about 25 years. So my market strategy to build the strongest brand in solar energy is to do this: change everybody's graphical profile. They keep their name, that's very important, but they all have the same graphical profile. For instance, when we bought so far, the largest company, Provector, about 2 months ago, they have 100 cars going around in Skaraborg. So just see before yourself, when all these cars are in our costume, so to speak, that's going to do a lot of impact. All of these companies, of course, were very proud of their old logotypes, but now they're even prouder about this. So we're above 400 employees now, and they're all very proud of this graphical profile that puts them in the same boat, so to speak. What we do is we call it transformational M&A. If we take let's say, roofing company, that's easier to talk about. When we bought Takbyrån about almost 2 weeks ago, the owners there said that they built it up from 2014 to this year. They have a turnover of about 100 million with a 10% profit. And they said, in 2, 3, maybe 4 years, we're not going to have this business, because every building company and the building owner are saying, okay, you're going to redo my roof, or you're going to build my new roof. Can you do solar as well? No, I can't. Okay, I'll go somewhere else. So the roofing companies, they have to have solar, and the same with the electricity companies, they have to have solar and the facade. So what we're doing is we're transforming these companies to be sun roof companies, so to speak. MP Gruppen, a company that we bought over 2 years ago, they had a turnover about 80 million. This year they're going to have that on roofing and another 30 million on solar. So we're turning this company that was founded in 1966, that's been a roofing company for all these years, into a solar roofing companies. So we're actually changing society in a really cool way. So what is tech for us? Well, we have our own aesthetic, unique panels that I'm going to show you some pictures on. This transformational M&A that I just talked about is really putting Soltech into these companies' daily lives and their products. We have innovative energy system solutions and collaborations. We don't just want to sell the solar cells. We work together with PowerCell. We work together with Ferram, together with Nilar batteries and so forth. So we're actually selling the whole system, from solar cells down to batteries and how to distribute the power and so forth. Integrated solar solutions. At the bottom you see Soltec shingle. That is actually the roof. It's not something on the roof. That's one of our special panels that we work with. This is Soltec facade. This is up in Örnsköldsvik. The whole facade is solar cells. Even the a little bit lighter panels, those are windows, and they have 30% solar cell and 70% see-through. So the whole facade is actually producing energy. And this is how a lot of buildings will be built, especially large logistics centers like DHL barns and so forth, that have hundreds and hundreds of meters of just walls, facades, that should have solar cells on them. And they will have solar cells in the future. This is one of our newest products, and this is growing like weed. This is a rendered drawing of a parking garage in Mölnlycke. This is Wallenstams, and on the picture to the left, this was how the architects had drawn it when it was going to be renovated. And the picture on the right, what's that? That's the same building, but with solar cells. So we can actually make solar cells that are rusty color, that have the same texture, and so forth, as a rusty metal facade. And it looks the same, but it is producing energy. So we're going from a dead material to a living material. But Wallenstam didn't like this. They wanted a colorful facade. And this is the old textile industries with what's her name now? Viola Gråsten, the designer, that's known for colorful and powerful patterns. So they wanted the colorful and powerful patterns on this facade. So this is what we have made. It's being built right now. I don't have any pictures on it, but this is also a rendered drawing. But it's going to be many different kinds of solar cells in different colors and with see-through. So this fall it's going to be ready. So you can make a lot of new, fun and inspiring solar installations. It doesn't have to look like it's done in the past. These are some of our solar roofs. Soltec shingle up to the left is Vasakronans building. This is a solar cell that takes away. This was an old sheet metal roof that they took away and made a new surface, and then they put the solar cells right on it. And then we also do large buildings like the one down on the left. That's I think it's 3.7 megawatts or 35,000 square meters. We're also in China, for those who know about us. This started out with the company down on the right there, Advanced Solar Power. We started buying their thin solar cells to put into our products like Soltec shingle. And the owners of it, the family Wu, had lived in Colorado, Denver, for 25 years, so they're almost American. And when they moved home to Hangzhou, they started this company that's grown a bit. They have Sequoia Capital, Legend Capital, which is Lenovo, and other large owners. We started talking about how can we do more business together, and we thought about solar as a service. So the idea is that we knock on doors like this factory and say, hey, you want a solar cell? installation on your roof. You don't have to pay anything. You will get the electricity from the roof for about 12% lower than you buy from the grid. All you have to do is sign a 20-year contract. We will finance it, we will install it, we will own it, and we will run it. And it's a very easy sell, because a lot of these companies, both in the public sector and the privately owned and listed ones, have a pressure from clients and the government and employees and so forth to go green. So we have 182 megawatts in production. That picture there is 1 megawatt, 10,000 square meters. This company, Advanced Soltic it's called, we own, where I come from, 51%, and our Chinese partner 49%. We've been talking about putting this on Nasdaq First North for quite a while now, but the COVID-19 pandemic came in our way. But we have a contract with Carnegie and DNB to do that, and it will happen. I can't say when, because that would be insider information. But this is an important part of the stock value, of course. And when we put this on the stock exchange, we and Advanced Solar Power will still be the majority owners, but we will float X%. And the reason for doing that is so they can get an easier way of financing themselves, because the goal is 1,000 megawatts, 1 gigawatt, and that will cost about 4 billion Swedish more. This is just some examples of things that we've done. The World Expo in Beijing with colorful solar cells and integrated solar cells. And right now, it of course also is postponed because of the pandemic, but the World Expo 2020 in Dubai, this is the Swedish pavilion, which is called The Forest. We have sponsored 500 square meters of Soltic facade and roof. So this October it's opening. So we will of course be down there with clients. Then it's time to bring out the popcorn.
To overcome climate change, we must change the way we live. Reduce waste, cut carbon emissions, and rethink how we use our natural resources. But it's not only about doing less, it's also about living right. Capturing the sun's renewable energy and making it an integrated part of everyday life. From what's right in front of us to what's powering our society. We can thrive within our planetary boundaries. But first, we have to move from sustainability being a sacrifice to a reliable investment. With engineers, roofers, and electricians working together, we make solar technology adaptable, more efficient, and easily accessible for everyone. There's an infinite source of energy right above us. All we need to do is manage it better.
Well, I still get goosebumps. These are my contact details. So if anybody wants to call or send an email, please do so. I answer everybody that contacts me, even though we have 65,000 shareholders. Some of them really get in touch, but that's only fun. So thank you for your time, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Stefan. Really, really interesting presentation. You make me feel like Ray Kurzweil is not an optimist, but rather he's pretty negative, because renewable energy at affordable prices seems to be here already in 2021.
Yep.
So, like, top of my mind philosophical question: could you solve all the world's energy needs, or just with solar power panels?
Well, Soltec energy can't do it, but solar energy can.
Okay.
I would say that, of course.
Good. So you bring together a lot of companies, a lot of different specialists. But do you assemble everything, or do you have your own innovations, technological innovations as well?
We buy from the best in the world, but we also have our own innovation chief officer that always is looking at making new versions of our own products and looking and working with R&D on new ones. Yes. Okay. And we saw impressive growth in Q1 of 175%. What is driving that growth? It's both organic growth within our companies, but of course also acquisitions. But some of the 3 last acquisitions, Provector, we only had in March, and Rams and Takbyrån we had in Q2. And those are 3 of the largest ones with about 150, 70, and 100 million in turnover. That's pretty large companies. If you compare us to Instalco, which has a really good valuation, their average company had a turnover of 38 million last year. So we're buying large companies. We will buy companies that have a turnover of 15 or 20 also, and probably 250 or even more. But and the smaller ones will probably maybe be bolt-ons on larger ones. But it's interesting. What we're after is finding the right entrepreneurs and the right employees that are in the right sector that we can turn into solar companies if they're not solar companies.
I see. And have you disclosed how much of your growth is organic and how much is acquired?
No, not yet. We're looking forward to, seems a strange thing to say, but when our China business is on their own, we will start reporting in a different way. But now that's one of the reasons also to be more transparent. But that's of course a KPI that we will look at.
I see. And just one final question then. What do we have to look forward to from Soltec in the coming 12 months, if you just give us some teasers?
We will keep on growing. We will start looking at now this year we will maybe double again. And I have employed Patrik Hane from NEQ as COO. So now we're coming to a size that's big enough to start looking at synergies. So we will start looking at synergies more between in purchasing and in HR and marketing and tech and so forth. But my main focus is acquisitions. So I will focus more. And when Patrik comes aboard as COO, I mean, you can't have the same organization when you have a 50 million turnover or 1 billion turnover. So it's going to be good when he comes on board. Then I can work even more on being out there and selling the vision and getting entrepreneurs to sell to us. Because there's a lot of companies that want to buy you. But I want them to come to the Soltec family because we're the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation and good luck on your journey.
Thank you.